Hi, you guys. It's Yaz, and today I'm going to talk about 5 signs you're dealing with a narcissist who has no empathy. And what a lot of people don't realize is that the way you're going to really know you're dealing with a narcissistic person, there's a lot of different narcissistic traits that make up a person who is considered a narcissist. But the biggest trait of all is the lack of empathy, because narcissism is on a spectrum, okay? Some people could be very, very narcissistic and have zero empathy, and some people with narcissistic traits could have very low empathy. But what I want to do is I want to point out signs that the person you're dealing with is lacking empathy and they could be a narcissist. And a lot of people don't realize this at the time when they're dealing with a narcissist. So let me talk about signs that you may be dealing with a narcissist who is lacking empathy. Number 1, this is the real big one, you guys. When you're down, you're going to see who's got you and who doesn't, okay? Because when the going gets tough, the narcissist gets going. So you're going to see it in times where you may have financial problems, when you're sick, maybe when somebody around you love is sick. And you're going to see by the narcissist's reaction just how much empathy they have for you. Let's say that you're very, very sick and you're going through something and you tell the narcissist, you don't feel good. They're going to give you fake empathy. If you get them on the phone or you're telling them face to face, they're going to try to pretend like, I'm sorry to hear that and everything. If you need anything, give me a call and this and that. And what is that narcissist going to do after that? They're going to ghost you. They're going to disappear. They're not going to pick up their phone. They're going to tell you that they left their phone in another room, or they left it downstairs, or they left their phone in the car when you call them when you're going through something. Why? Because that narcissist has no empathy and they don't want to help you. This is what a covert narcissist would do in particular, all right? They will pretend to show you fake empathy when you're going through something, and then they will disappear on you and come back later when they know that, you don't need their help. Because here's the thing, covert narcissists, they don't want to help you. Okay. And a lot of them are very sadistic in the sense that they actually enjoy seeing you suffer. Okay. They're sick-minded people. Go listen to my podcast about how the narcissist is, they're sick in their heads, and, they're very jealous and envious people. So one of the signs that you're dealing with a narcissist that has no empathy is that they're not there for you in the hard times. And a lot of times, too, people could be in a relationship with a narcissist, and they could even have been in a relationship for many, many years. And one of the people ends up getting a serious type of illness, such as cancer or heart problems or something like that, and the narcissist leaves them, okay? The narcissist leaves them because the narcissist can't handle it. And I've even seen narcissists get angry at somebody for getting sick, okay? I knew a narcissist who got angry at his wife because she got cancer, and he was very, very cruel to her, all right? Because he couldn't handle, the hardship of what that life would mean, of, her going through cancer treatments and all of that. And the narcissist will get angry. They'll get angry because they feel inconvenienced in their life. They don't want to have to, sacrifice and help someone else out. It's not fun when you're dealing with these kind of hardships in life. And narcissists don't want to be around people who are, bringing them down. Narcissists want to be around for the fun times, the happy times, the dopamine rushes, the great sex, the great parties, where they're having a good time. But when it's serious issues in life, the narcissist is going to disappear on you and not want to deal with you. That's a sign you're dealing with a narcissist who has no empathy. that totally abandons you at your lowest point. And during the pandemic, a lot of people saw that they were dealing with a narcissist because there was a lot of stress going on. People couldn't leave their houses. And that's when you really saw, especially the narcissists, they were so frustrated during the pandemic because they were locked in. They couldn't go see other supply. And that's when you really saw the true core character of the narcissist, because they were cruel, they were wicked, they would leave you for dead. All right. Another sign that a narcissist is lacking empathy is that if you're hurting financially, they don't want to help you. The only time a narcissist would want to help you financially is if they're benefiting off it or if they need you later on for something. All right. So narcissists, they lack empathy. Anytime it's a low point in your life or whatever, they'll disappear, like I said. When you try to, after they know that you're going through something, they will make themselves scarce. Okay, they'll either disappear, all right, not pick up their phones and then come back with some lame excuse like, oh, I was so busy, I was sick too, all right? They'll make up stories and everything like that so that they don't have to help you, all right? Or the other thing they'll do is they'll also be very, very cold, okay? Don't expect them to be the type that'll put their arm around you and comfort you in your time of need, all right? Another sign that a narcissist is lacking empathy is that when they're fighting with someone, they don't get involved to help. So let's say you're fighting with your boss or you're fighting with one of your friends. That narcissist is going to actually blame you for the fight, okay? Or it could be somebody in your family. You may have a falling out with somebody. The narcissist will not have your back. The narcissist will blame you. And in some cases, the narcissist will actually align with your enemies against you, okay? So narcissists, they are not, they're not your supporters. They're not your people. And when things go wrong, they actually, instead of being empathetic, they will blame you for it, and they will side with the people that, you're having a falling out with. They will actually side with them because, number one, the narcissist doesn't want to validate you. They do not want to validate you. They always want to make you wrong. And that's why a lot of times, like I said, they will victim shame you, okay? You will hear a narcissist all the time say, well, you did it to yourself. Or, you just, you make bad decisions. Or they'll always bring up stuff from your past. Maybe mistakes you made even years ago in your early adult life. They'll bring up things from years ago, saying things like, oh, you jumped from job to job, or, oh, you didn't get along with this one, or you didn't get along with that one. And they will hold it against you and always blame you and try to point out and make like there's something wrong with you because they're jealous. They want to discredit you. They don't want to validate you. They are not your people. They are not your supporters. They, a lot of them hate you deep down, but they pretend not to. So when you're having a falling out with someone else, they are going to be working against you, and they're going to blame you actually for it. All right. Another sign a narcissist is lacking empathy, they laugh at you when you hurt yourself, okay? You're walking down the street, you trip and fall, you bang your head, whatever it could be, the narcissist will start laughing. And then they'll be like, oh, you okay? Okay. Because to them, it's a joke. It's a joke when you hurt yourself, all right? And they're actually enjoying it because, again, a lot of narcissists are sadistic. They like to see other people hurting because it's the old adage, misery loves company. So, they can't help themselves. Their initial reaction is to laugh instead of saying, are you okay? Are you okay? Did you hurt yourself? Are you okay? The other sign that a person is lacking empathy and could be narcissistic is when you try to talk to them about serious topics. All right. Again, it could be a low point in your life, or it could be a problem you're struggling with. They will change the topic. Okay. They will change the topic because they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. You will know you're dealing with a narcissist because they have a very low tolerance for hearing about what you're going through. So they will change the topic, or they will redirect and talk about themselves. They'll say, oh, you think you've got it bad? You should see what I have to deal with. Oh my goodness, I have to deal with this. And now they make it all about themselves, all right? A lot of times when you're going through something difficult, the narcissist will get angry at you for bringing it up to them, and because you're inconveniencing them. You're bringing them down, and they will actually get very angry at you because they don't want to deal with it. They don't want to deal with you coming to them with problems or needing advice or anything like that because you are inconveniencing them, all right? They don't want to be inconvenienced. They don't want to be bothered. They don't want to deal with anything that you have to deal with, all right? They'll be a lot of them will have no empathy, and just if they don't run on you, they'll say, well, I don't know what to tell you. You'll have to deal with it, all right? They won't even offer you help. That's another sign a narcissist has no empathy. They see that you're struggling and they just stand there and do nothing, okay? It's kind of similar to when you're crying to a covert narcissist and you're upset and you're looking for them to kind of comfort you in some way or offer something, some kind words, and they don't. They just sit there like a stone and they stare at you. They stare at you and make you feel like there's something wrong with you, okay? It's again, they won't validate you. They sit there and they just stare at you, okay? They just sit there and they stare at you and say nothing. They refuse to validate you, and they're actually enjoying in your pain, and they refuse to comfort you, okay? That's a sign that you could be dealing with a covert narcissist, all right? Now, remember, listen carefully. I'm saying you could be. It doesn't necessarily mean they are a narcissist. You have to look for those other traits as well, all right? Where they could be passive aggressive. They could give you the silent treatment. They could flip the blame. They could play the victim. They have an air of superiority, all these kind of things that circle around and would make somebody a narcissist, right? All those different traits. Now, moving along to signs that this person is lacking empathy. The other thing that a narcissist who lacks empathy does is they fight in front of children, okay? They have no empathy for their kids. They can't hold their tongue. They can't hold back. They will hurt their partner. Their first priority will be to hurt their partner and not care. And they have no empathy for the fact that they do it in front of their children, and it's actually hurting their children. All right. That's a narcissist that has no empathy. Or another sign too is a narcissist who puts down their partner because they hate their partner so much. They'll put them down to the children. This could be a situation where you're going through a divorce and the narcissist is disparaging you to the children. They're not thinking about the fact that that's still their mother or father and that it's hurting them when they're putting them down. No, they're just thinking about how they want to manipulate these children and how they want to hurt their partner by trying to manipulate the children, okay? They have no empathy for their children whatsoever, all right? So, how somebody treats the children as well will show you how empathetic they are. That's why a lot of times a clue when you're dating somebody who's got kids is to look at how they treat their children, okay? Because a lot of times narcissists have bad relationships with their children. They're either not talking to their children because they did something dirty to them or to their partner, or, they have a situation where they have children that may be close with the narcissist because the narcissist has money, all right? So the kids are playing up to the narcissist for money. It could be, if it's older children or something like that, it could be a situation like that. So all of these will tell you things about the person that you're dealing with, right? So the big one, though, you guys, is that they see you struggling, they see you suffering, and they do nothing to offer comfort. They don't validate you. They don't help. And they pretend, if it's a covert narcissist, they pretend to want to help you, but they don't ever help you when you do call them out for help, okay? That's one of the biggest signs that you're dealing with a covert narcissist. There's so many, okay? I mean, I could just do a massive podcast on the covert narcissists because I know them like the back of my hand, all right? I've dealt with them my whole life. But one of the big things that they do is that they make promises and they don't follow through. And they especially make promises when you're going through something difficult. Oh, I could help you with this, or don't worry, I'll help you with the kids, or, I know you're going through something, I'll be there for you, to help you along the way. And then when you rely on them for anything, they're nowhere to be found. They're nowhere to be found. And then what they'll do is they'll go to other people and make up lies to manipulate other people, like they fell in a parking lot. That's why they couldn't call you back, or, they were going through something rough, or, they had a problem at work. They'll always come up with an excuse to why they can't be there for you. All right. Classic covert narcissist, always come up with an excuse why they couldn't be there for you. All right. Or again, I like to point this out, they love to victim shame you for your circumstances, all right? Anytime you're in a bad place or a situation, you'll know you're dealing with a narcissist because instead of having any empathy for you and your situation, they will victim shame you, okay? They will say, well, you did it to yourself, okay? Or you didn't listen to us earlier, or something like that, And they will victim shame you instead of having empathy for you and understanding why you did what you did, okay? They don't have any understanding for why you did what you did. Instead, if you're in a bad place, it's because you did something to put yourself in that bad place, okay? I mean, I've been called the martyr. I've been called so many different things just because I was a truth teller. I was scapegoated. I've been surrounded by narcissistic people that have no empathy whatsoever. And I really saw it, having a child with a disability. That's another sign too. When you have a child with a disability or special needs kids, you're really going to see who's the narcissist in your life and who's not, because the narcissists are not going to want to be around that special needs kid. Okay. They're horrible. They're disgusting people that have no empathy for children with disabilities or even anybody that's sick or anything like that. That's when you're really going to see who's got heart and who doesn't, all right? But they pretend to, okay? They will try to pretend or put on a good act for all the outsiders because they don't want to be portrayed as the real monsters that they are, okay? And they are monsters because they do have no empathy for sick people, disabled people, the less fortunate, the vulnerable people. They have zero heart, zero empathy. They don't want to be around these people. A lot of times they don't even like children, okay? They don't like small children. They don't like children because they don't want to have to be inconvenienced or bothered, okay? The narcissist is like, they think they're the king and queen and they don't want to be bothered with these kind of things, but they want to be around, when the kid is getting honors in college or, the fun times, going on vacation or going to a restaurant. Oh yeah, that's when narcissists love to be around, for the fun times, having a good time. But for the hard times, when a kid is sick or, you're sick or someone else you love is sick, you'll see they're not going to want to be around. They're not going to want to be bothered. And that's how you're going to know that you're dealing with somebody who has no empathy. And if you look at the other characteristics of them, all right, you'll see that you're probably 9 times out of 10, you're dealing with a narcissist, because they're going to blame shift. They're going to victim shame you for your circumstances. They're going to gaslight you and never take accountability. They're going to use triangulation to gang up on you and get other people against you. So they'll use all these kind of manipulation tactics. And when you're actually the victim, guess what? They're going to try to one-up you, and they're going to try to be the victim, okay? And they may go to other people in the family and pretend that they're the victim when they're really not the victim. You're the victim. But they're going to try to downplay your victimhood to try to get all the attention on them. This is what they do. This is what could happen when you have a narcissistic sibling. It's a competition with them. Okay? So instead of them having empathy for you, it's a competition. They want to play the victim to everybody. All right? When in fact, they're not the victim. You are. Okay? You are. But what they'll do is they'll manipulate everybody else against you. And they're going to play the victim, and they're going to minimize whatever, troubles you're going through and make it out to be you're negative, you're insecure, you're very sensitive. They love the sensitive card. You're very sensitive. Oh, she's so sensitive. Oh, she makes a big deal out of anything. Oh, she's in her situation. She did it to herself. She's sensitive, this and that. Zero empathy. These people have zero empathy, okay? They really are animals, all right? They really are animals. They have zero empathy for people that are really, really the true victims, okay? And they will try to make you doubt yourself to, that there is anything wrong with you or something like that. It's like the narcissist. When you break up with them, they're going to play the victim when they're the ones who did you dirty, okay? They're the ones who did you dirty, but now they're out there telling everybody they're the victim and that you did them dirty. You see how the narcissist shifts the blame and puts it on you, and they play the victim? Well, that's how you're gonna see it, all right? That's how you're going to see it. So, you guys, I think I pretty much gave you an idea of what a narcissist looks like that doesn't have empathy, all right? They're not going to be there for you when you're sick, when you lose your job, when you're hurting for money, when you need help. They will not pick up their phone, okay? They'll disappear and come back later with some lame excuse like, oh, I fell asleep. Oh, I fell in the parking lot. Oh, my phone was downstairs. They think they're slick, all right? They think they're slick. They also manipulate other people, and other people will side with them like, and you'll look like the bad guy when you try to expose them. But the real people that know them, the real smart people will be able to see them for who they are, okay? And if people want to side with the narcissist, then they were never in your corner to begin with. Understand that. Then they were never in your corner to begin with. And you ought to reconsider whether you should even have these type of people in your life, all right? Again, they will laugh when you hurt yourself. They will change the topic when you're trying to explain to them that you're having a problem with something. They will switch it and talk about themselves and their problems. Your problems are an inconvenience. They want to be around for the fun times. They ghost you during the hard times. When you're down, you will see who the narcissist is, because they're the ones who will not reach out and see how you're doing, okay? That's another sign too. A lot of times, narcissists will not reach out and see how you're doing, all right? And if they do, it's because they're curious and they want to see that you're not doing well. I mentioned that in one of my reels. I said the 2 times you're going to hear from a narcissist is A, when they want something out of you, and B, when they want to be nosy and see what's going on with you, all right? They'll show no empathy when they hurt their kids, by fighting in front of them. And, when they see you struggling or suffering, and they do nothing to help or console you even, okay? They won't even console you, because They could be as cold as a covert narcissist and just sit there. And I saw this, you guys. I saw this with, one time my son was crying and crying to the covert narcissist, and the covert narcissist just sat there like a fucking stone on the couch and did nothing. I couldn't believe it. Didn't even put his arm around the kid, okay? And that shows you something. That shows you that person has no empathy. They are stunted, all right? They're either doing it deliberately to hurt you, but I think in this case, this person is just emotionally stunted and just could not, show emotion because they're just so cold. They're just cold people, all right, with no heart, and they block all of their emotions, all of their feelings, so that they can be the ice king and ice queens of the world. That's your covert narcissist. The ice queens that will go into a silent treatment for months or longer, or the ice kings that sit there and show no emotion towards even a child, okay? So I hope that helps you. If it does, please hit the subscribe button. Please share the podcast. If you're looking for confidential one-on-one phone coaching, check out the link in the bio at askyaz.wixsite.com/thegameexposed. I have limited time, you guys. I don't even know how much longer I can coach because I'm working on this other project, and I just have so much going on here. I'm really burnt out. Okay. Also check out my TikTok at The Game Exposed. Instagram is The Game EXP 123, and Facebook is The Game EXP 123, and YouTube. Everything's on YouTube. I lay it down on there. You'll pretty much find whatever you're looking for on narcissism. You could do a search on my channel at The Game Exposed podcast on my channel on YouTube. Okay. Just go to the search button when you're on my channel at The Game Exposed podcast and search whatever specific topic within narcissism you want information on. For instance, discard, fake discard, love bombing, blame shifting, triangulation, all these kind of tactics that they use, when they play the victim. I do a lot on covert narcissists because I know them so well. Okay. So I hope that helps you, and have a great day, you guys.